Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus Outdoors. Hope everybody had a great Easter, post-Easter. So here we are in New Jersey. We're getting, finally, some really warm, sunny weather. 75 today, upper 70s tomorrow. Even though I'm right by the ocean, because I'm so close to the ocean, when I look at my weather forecast, I really have to put local because it could be anywhere between 5 to 7 degrees warmer just a mile west of me because I'm so close to the ocean. The ocean really dictates my weather. But anyway, it's a warm day today. It's sunny. So I'm going to show you real quick hardening. Very important. If you're growing your coleus from seed and you have your seedlings and they're starting to develop and they're plants now but they're not fully mature, what is hardening? When can I start to harden my coleus? And I'm going to show you what's a good size that you can start to harden your coleus. Hardening is when you get your coleus used to the stresses of being outside. You can't take your coleus, this is coleus that you're growing yourself by seed. You can't take your coleus and just put it right outside. Otherwise it'll die. Even if they're a little larger like the ones I'm going to show you. Okay, firstly, here are some coleus seedlings. These are too small to even put out for hardening. At this point, these are still pretty tiny and they're really too delicate to even harden at this point. Again, I always mention, if you've been following along, how I have to be patient, and you have to be patient too. We all want to get our coleus out. We want them grown. We want big plants. If you're that type of person, maybe I suggest you either buy rootings or live plugs from, say, Rosie Dawn Gardens and have them delivered at a scheduled date, or buy your coleus in stores. But store-bought coleus may be limited. You may only get a few different ones, and a lot of times they mix them with other plants. But anyway, just to give you an idea, these are still way too small to put out for hardening. So I'm going to go out. I do have one tray, which, again, if you're following along, you know I stagger my coleus so I don't have everything coming to size at the same time. But I'm going to go outside, show you the one tray, which is a good safe size to start hardening. Okay, so here is that one tray. This is a decent size to put out hardening. Now, what hardening is how you get your plants accustomed to the stresses of being outdoors. The sun, the changes in the temperature, the wind, and just the stresses of being outside. So those coleus seedlings I just showed you that were too small, they wouldn't really make it. They're too young to even put up with this, and this is very minor. We have them in sun here, there's a breeze, and that's what hardening is. So how you harden your plants is every day for 2 weeks or so. Before you know you're going to be putting them outside, you place them out in sun or dappled sun and shade for about an hour or two. Now, because these are still pretty, they're good size, but they're certainly not large, I'm not going to keep them out for 2 hours. Generally, once I really start hardening all my coleus, and I'll definitely be posting a video on that, I'll put them out for about 2 hours. But these are still tender, but I want to get them out, so I'm going to put these out for about an hour, and I'm going to check them. If I start seeing the leaf curl or anything like that, I'm going to bring them back in. But it's really good, and this really helps jumpstart the growth. The outdoors, the oxygen pumping through, I gave them some water, sun, really makes it's very beneficial. Now you can actually see that one, that's a smaller one. I'm going to bring that inside. It's a little, see how it's kind of curling up? It's a little too small to be outside, so this one just happened to get in the pot, but we're going to bring this inside. But the rest of them seem to be doing pretty well. So that's how you harden your coleus. Very important, and that goes for pretty much any plant that you're going to grow from seed. You want to get them used to being outdoors, so be patient. Again, today, tomorrow, the rest of this week is going to be in the mid to high 70s here. Optimal weather for Coleus. But we want to be patient. We don't want to sacrifice our plants because I've been patient and put them out too soon and ended up damaging them. And I've done that. I've learned from my mistakes. Okay, so we put this one back in its other tray. Some of the little, even these are pretty good size, but they're just a tad smaller than the ones that were just outside. So again, I've learned from my mistakes. So I'm gonna put this one out. Look at the beautiful color on this. Now, when I say mistakes, what I've done in the past where maybe I just got ahead of myself and tried to harden Coleus maybe too long. I might have lost a few leaves, and that just sets me back a little. It didn't kill the plant, but it set me back because I had to trim those dead leaves off, and then new ones had to grow in. So, and I had a lot of them to do like that, so it set me back. So that's why I try to be patient and not put these young Coleus Outdoors. Look at those beautiful lime sprite Coleus, or they may be crimson. I did plant some crimsons. Those might be crimson golds, crimsons. That's definitely a lime sprite because you can see the large area of purple. But what beautiful plants! This beats going to the store. But again, it's relative to you. If you have the time, whether it's 10 or 15 or 3 or 4 Coleus, it's up to you whether you want to do this. Grow them by yourself. It's not hard. But beautiful, beautiful plants. Look at that color. That's a Kong red. Here's that other tray that I just did last week. So I have some basil. I have some mixed color and bluebell terranias. I had some extra mosaic Coleus seeds, so I threw some mosaics in, just a handful, and some jitters. I always grow a lot of jitters because they're fabulous. There's one that there's a pod that did not. No seeds, didn't get any germination, so we'll drop a few on that. So if you do have, if you did drop some seeds and they didn't germinate, it happens. Just replant, drop them on. Make sure you don't bury your Coleus seeds. But these are all really healthy, and I got just a mix of rainbow. And I mentioned if you're following along, and I always buy a little burpee pack of rainbow Coleus. Not always, but every once in a while, every few years. And I'll plant them just to see, because there's always a mix, and just to see what pops up, because you never know what they throw in there. So, all right, everybody. So I hope that helps out with hardening. Any questions on hardening? Please feel free to leave a question. Beautiful. We're gonna put this one out. Just a little story about years ago when I first started growing Coleus. I purchased, I don't remember the supplier, but I purchased about 25 young Coleus seedlings. And I didn't know anything. I didn't research or anything. And I immediately planted them outside, young little seedlings, immediately put them in the ground, like 25 of them. And the next day they were all dead. And I contacted the company and I educated myself, and now here I am. So don't be in a hurry to get them in the ground, depending on where you live also. But harden your Coleus if you're growing them from seed. Harden them, take your time, get them used to being outdoors. Plan what you're gonna do in the ground, in pots. And remember, do not use cedar mulch. Cedar mulch is poisonous. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but if you're planting them in the ground, cedar mulch, the cedar is poisonous, so don't use it. Look for an alternative ground covering. So, all right, so plenty more to come here. Jim's Holiest of Coleus. The season is just starting. We're getting outside. No more dreary dining rooms. All right, so everybody, thanks for following, and stay tuned. We got lots more to come.